single limb Curse.NA and FeaR are the first set up. Look at Elements. That's a ribbon you don't see very often. He is a great leader.
He's a great leader, takes the bench when he thinks it's best for his team. Curse.NA actually showing a really good play at IPL 5.
Yeah.
Placing a lot higher than some people were expecting with their kind of roster changes that's going on, a little bit of a conflicts here and there. But Elements back in the lineup for today. Going to be leading that team up a little bit. Voyboy still hasn't added that curse tag onto his name yet.
Lazy.
But definitely showing up some good play for them, and we're going to look for that today as well.
Well, actually, Zuna is actually kind of slackitating on that one also. He needs his FeaR tag, like, ASAP.
Well, he's still listed as a sub. They haven't decided if he's going to be fully part of the lineup yet.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of subs, too, like, I'm actually looking back at IPL 5, I'm looking at Curse's lineup now. I kind of miss Rux. I mean, he did pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Considering how little time they had to prepare and how relatively new he was to the team. He's just a fantastic all-around player and really showed his stuff at IPL 5. But I'm sad that we're not seeing him here, but we know he's listed as a sub. We may see him again, and I hope we do.
Yeah, so looking at the band so far, we got Shen, Nocturne, Lee Sin coming out from Curse. They don't want any of those expected overpower champions. But you got to also keep in mind, this is on the live realm. So this is what is going to be out for Season 3. All the new items, all the new balance changes that are going to be happening. Things aren't completely figured out yet.
No.
We've seen a lot of really cool strategies, especially I've been seeing it on playing a solo queue and everything. Just stacking black cleavers, Pantheons being banned out all over the place.
Yeah.
But the bans that we see from these teams, they seem very similar to what we had at the end of Season 2. Not sure what they've been practicing. I don't know if you've been looking at some of the scrims that have been going on.
Unfortunately, have not been.
Yeah, it's been a little hectic for us here. We haven't been able to keep up with everything quite yet, but that's what these tournaments are for. We're going to get a little snapshot into what the pros are thinking is really good. Diana going to be picked up there. That could be jungle, mid, or top. So a little bit of a lane agnostic pick right in the beginning. That's going to give them a lot of flexibility. Most likely we're going to see it for Najak in the mid.
And also, if you remember from IPL 5, Diana was the most contested champion for the entire tournament. I think her combined pick ban rate, I think it was something ridiculous, between 80 and 90% of all games at IPL 5 she was either picked or banned. And she's strong. She is stupid strong right now in the mid lane. And yeah, you're right. She is lane agnostic. She can go in many different places.
You'll have to see what FeaR is going to do about that. Zyra as a support pick has been extremely common as well.
Right.
Continuing into Season 3, so that's not surprising there. The utility that she brings out and the ability to control that lane with a little bit of extra vision from those plants combined with just everything else that she can add to a team makes it very good for that bottom lane. They haven't picked their AD. They're going to go for that Cho'Gath, most likely for Smith, who's just grabbing his own zone champion, being a little selfish there, but that's okay. As Najak, he did the same.
So we've talked with FeaR quite a bit in the past, and Aphromoo, he does enjoy that Draven pick. If it is not banned, we're more than likely going to see it, but there needs to be a very aggressive support to go with it. Muffin Q needs something. The Morgana is ideal, and we've also seen them run Katarina in the mid lane. So support Zyra also really fits that aggressive support role. But as you're seeing now from Curse, they're also going on a little bit of the aggressive end. They've been playing, they've favored Nunu quite a bit, and Ashe, those arrows are amazing. But Lulu, picking up that as support, that really defines a huge push lane. And we've been seeing them play it quite a bit lately.
This is no surprise here. It gives them flexibility to do a lane swap if they want to, depending on what the final picks for FeaR are. Most likely it's just going to be really aggressive in that bottom lane like you're talking about, and then allowing Diana to roam a lot. Get down to that bottom lane, get some early kills in the beginning. Lulu can help with those tower dives, give a little bit extra health for whichever player is actually taking the damage from the turret. And just, if you can get that lead early on, it helps ridiculously. Having Ashe, as soon as she hits level 6, that could also be the trigger for that attempted gank going on. It's going to be really interesting to see how that's going to come down.
And Ashe, though, just on Cop on his own, I remember doing the stats leading up to IPL 5, and he actually didn't have a whole lot of tournament play on him. But Ashe is fantastic, and he's been really showing there's definitely been some practice in the works on Cop specifically, and that shows how versatile of an AD he's actually really grown to be. I like to take a look at that. I like to see when players go outside of their normal boundaries, play champs they're not used to for the good of the team, and that really shows how much of a team player he is. And FeaR over on the other side, Rise is not someone we see a whole lot of anymore.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot recently. He used to be one of the most popular AP mids maybe about 6 months ago. But going up against Diana, that's going to be interesting because he can lock her down when she's about to use her ultimate and jump in. That can kind of mix things up a little bit in that mid lane early on, make things a little bit different than what we were expecting earlier on. Voyboy, if he locks in a Nasus, that would be exciting to see.
Oh, man.
Just that beefy tank up there, making sure that the library stays defended.
And you were there, Lone Star, when the entire teleport Nasus madness was going on.
Yeah, with a few hour-long game because of pauses, yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that that's allowed to happen, that Riot has built a system that is so stable through all sorts of craziness that could be going on throughout a tournament is just so much props to them. Like,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of catastrophes happen in esports where like a server goes down or even just a single computer goes down and it destroys the integrity of a tournament. But what Riot's built in is made it so that, all right, an internet failure happens. All right, well, everyone sit tight.
Yeah.
We'll be back up in a little bit. We'll talk about what's going on. The players, they have no problem with it. They're kind of used to it too. And it comes back up in 5 minutes. Everyone goes about their business as it was before. Like, having that capability is just so incredibly, like, beneficial to the community. Most people just kind of take it for granted. But if you've been around for any game before League of Legends, that wasn't something that you had. And
no.
It's just, it makes you feel so good about the progression of esports.
Regame.
Yeah.
There's just the
regame to the point that some players just like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And there goes the tournament. And that happened even for like StarCraft on OSL or not OSL, MSL.
Yeah,
was a big issue, and that actually affected who the champion for that season was, and that's we can't have that.
No.
We wouldn't have that in the Super Bowl. That like, a ball deflated. Sorry. Now the Patriots are just going to forfeit the game.
That would get me watching football. It's like the ball deflated. It's like even then, like every time my roommates watch football, it's just I only ever chime in when something is like absurdly wrong. It's like why is he not securing his helmet? Why is his helmet like 10 yards back? I don't understand.
Or build the excitement. He could die at any moment.
Or even then, I remember was at the Cowboys Stadium. They had the Godzillatron. They installed like the big monitor they have above the stadium, and actually became an issue because
the players would look at it.
The players will look at it. That's one thing, but like kickers would actually kick the ball into the. And it was like,
it's an extra target. Maybe that's 3 points instead of 2.
They said fair game. They said fair game. If you hit the thing, it's cool. It's neat. Like 3 point whatever. It's your own fault. But
it's nice working in esports.
But it is nice working in esports. Even then, we had like a 5-minute internet hookup at like IPL 5, and they were right on it. Zoomed right on down to all the secondary stream rooms. Got back into the game. Fantastic. And while we were talking about kicking things in football and streams, we got Voyboy. Elise was banned against Curse quite a bit because very early on in IPL 5, people recognized the power of Voyboy on Elise. And she has a lot of burst damage in her. Very deceptively well. And especially now in the League of Black Cleavers, that could be even more dangerous.
Yeah, the lineups that we see here from the champions, not that different than what we're used to. The item potential that these guys are going to have is going to be very interesting.
Yes.
So we're not sure if they're going to be running some completely new thing or if they're going to stay very similar to what they had before. Elise, she can be built a little bit tanky if they want to go with that route, especially if she goes for the brutalizers into the Black Cleaver with the extra health. Combined with everyone else on our team, Maokai just able to decrease a lot of the damage for everyone. This is a very tanky potential Curse lineup. They can minimize a lot of damage. We could even see an Ohm Wrecker come out and go for some early tower aggression. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah.
But on the other side, Zuna did lock in that Malphite. He's going to be able to counteract that a little bit as well. Slow down whoever's trying to get behind the enemy line to try to focus on Aframu. And they're just as tanky. They've got the ability from Zyra to kind of knock things up and reset a little bit. And their front 3 linemen are going to be able to absorb the damage from Cop for at least a little while. It's just going to see if that teleport's going to come into play or if Diana roaming is going to be able to just put so much pressure onto FeaR that they're going to be fearing Curse a little bit.
Yeah, the teleport is the emergency plan. It's like, I lost track of Jackie. I have to catch up. I have to get to a lane very quick. Jackie, though, on his own, he is actually a very like focused farmer. Jackie's farm levels can get ridiculously high, and if I recall, I think one of the side stream matches at IPL 5, I think it was Alex H playing Diana, and nearly hit like 500 farm, and that's Diana. She has a lot of tools in her kit that allow her to farm very efficiently, if given the levels, if given the time. And we've seen Jackie on champs like Morgana and Karthus even, that just get such ridiculously high levels of farm. And it's one thing to have a Diana that goes out into other lanes and gets the kills and gets fed. It's another thing to have a Diana that stays in the lane and farms up very well and does very well in lane. You get both, and that's why Mandatory Cloud is forced to take that teleport, because he knows if Diana gets caught roaming and he's not prepared, he needs to be there immediately.
Yeah, so that's going to cut down a lot of the kill potential coming out from Jackie as far as getting to other lanes.
Yep.
But whenever you switch out a summoner spell for a teleport or something that's giving you mobility, that means you're going to be dealing less damage in lane.
Correct.
So Jackie versus Mandatory Cloud in the mid matchup could go in Jackie's favor here. So it's going to be interesting to see how he actually takes advantage of having that a little bit of extra kill potential for him, and whether or not he turns that into an early kill, which he can then snowball to the point where it doesn't matter if teleport allows Mandatory Cloud to get to where he needs to be. He's going to be too weak for the dueling that'll actually occur.
Right. So it's essentially a race, really, for Mandatory Cloud here in mid. Usually when you see a champ like Ryze, because Diana has a lot of bursts, you're going to need some sort of magic resist there in the mid in order just to stick around and farm. And it's actually not too unusual for Ryze to itemize into Banshee's Veil relatively early, just to mitigate some of that damage, just for a little bit extra health. We've also seen Ryze with many patches ago. Rod of Ages is actually now a viable item, also because he now benefits a little bit better from AP. So he has options, but it is a race. He needs that farm. He needs that gold before Diana gets too ridiculous. So it's just, can I make enough money before Diana gets fed, if she gets fed?
Yeah, we're going to have to find out in just a little while here. We are into the game. This is game number 1 of the NA Royale. A little best of 3 single elimination show match tournament for these guys. $500 to the winner. Winner takes all.
Yep.
First game is going to be Curse.NA going up against FeaR.
Curse. I'm liking the better item variety now coming out from the pros. It's
item
not
variety, as we see the same items on multiple.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's you get so bored of Boots 3 pots after a while. It's just like, well, everyone.
Let's turn it into 7 items.
Well, that's the thing. Like the only item variation, the only purchase variation would be from the supports. Like, well, how many wards did you get? Did you get any pink wards? Did you get anything like that? But we got a few. We got a few biscuiteers. In here.
A little bit of a support tree here for the mid player from FeaR. That's going to be interesting to see how that's going to be affecting everything, especially since he doesn't have that Ignite available to him, so he's kind of counteracting it with a little bit of extra itemization to give him that tankiness in lane. Yep,
and also big, huge Q that ManCloud actually really devoted a lot of points into the utility tree in those masteries. So he's going to have quite a bit extra CDR and things of the like. And hey, while we're at it, it's like, I might as well get a ward. I might as well, go get that extra biscuit from Popeyes. Might as well just have it. It's only an extra $1. Why not?
We're also seeing a lot more play out of the machete that's coming out, giving a little bit more jungle potential. You don't need to build it up to that tier 2 item before you can start going through the jungle faster. And the tier 2 and 3 items coming out of the machete are really tooled. A lot of different potentials there. So the junglers even have a great way of kind of changing their itemization depending on how the game's going to be going down. Wouldn't be surprised if we see St. Fisher's going for more of the health version of it, trying to make sure that he stays able to be in the front lines for his team, because he's going to need to be doing that for them. But on the other side, Cho'Gath, he's already got a lot of health. Maybe he's going to be going for a little bit of more damage or something that gives him more AP, so he can be more of a menacing threat. But really, we're just going to have to wait and see.
We're still early on. We're still very early on in the Season 3. There's plenty of options available for everyone on both sides. And even then, I'm looking at Aframu right now. He went for the bottle and 7 pots. Whereas you have Cop went for the longsword and 3 pots, which is just... I'm liking this variety. I'm liking it a lot, and also reminding myself that I actually need to do some switcheroos for everyone to position down there in the bot scoreboard. There we go. That's a little bit better.
Yeah, and some switcheroos in your ideas of what you need to build every game. So like, while we see a lot of variety coming out from these pros, don't necessarily copy it yourself. Think about why they're doing certain things. And when you go to play your own games, what can you take away from that? What are they trying to achieve? And then are you trying to achieve the same thing? If so, maybe you should build the same items, but maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, I think Aphromoo, the reasoning behind all the potions, because once you get caught by one Frost Arrow from Ash, once you get that slow, you realize you're going to be taking quite a bit of damage. And also recognize...
Poke coming out from Elvis. That's going to be very close to first blood. A flash coming out from Aphromoo. That's going to be making him pretty weak. There's going to go those 7 potions that he ended up purchasing. He's
going to be he may as well need to borrow Brolof's hat just to start drinking 2 at a time if he can. And also remember, too, that the bottle and the potions, you cannot drink both at the same time. You have to wait until one's done before you start chugging the other.
The difference is that the bottle is kind of not a health potion, but a rejuvenation potion.
Muffin!
Nice
forcing out the heal. He had no choice. He had to use it. And he used it just frames away from getting hit with that second blast.
That's what you really need to do. He's just pushing the limits of his champion.
Yeah.
But going back to that bottle, it gives a little bit of mana at the same time, so it is versatile because even with a champion like Lulu that's going to be using a lot of mana to make sure she gets out those abilities, she's going to be getting it back in addition to the health. So she can go for the trading of poking in addition to trying to spam out the abilities.
Cloud used the teleport to get down to bot lane, going aggressive on the cop. There's a Prism down bot. Lulu getting the hell out of there, and that's going to be the first blood for actually Ash.
Yeah, so it's going to even things out quite a bit there. The assist gold is going to go to mid. That's going to help things out for FeaR a little bit. But nice call from Cop, knowing that he was going to be taken down no matter what. Turned around and was able to take down Muffin Cutie. Good trade for him, considering the situation.
Yep. But that does leave Xmithie with a little time to cover there in the mid. And with that assist, you actually see Mandatory Cloud is going to be edging out very slightly over Night Jackie. It's really not a whole lot. If he got the kill credit, he would have zoomed way far ahead of Diana. But because you only got the assist, you don't get as much gold, as much experience. So, but it's still, though, he's helping bot lane succeed. It's going to be a little bit easier for Aphromoo. And that's the thing, too, when you have an aggressive, not just an aggressive support, when you have Aphromoo and Muffin Q together, they're a very aggressive play style pair. If they're behind in lane, if they're being pushed to tower, that's really where they falter.
And that's going to be kind of a situation that Curse is forcing them into. They went that Lulu support, which you can be extremely aggressive. We also saw that now the Vampiric Scepter, it's going to give Cop a lot of ability to do damage in lane, but he's also going to be regenerating a lot of the health. Look at that trading that was going on. He was down in the abilities that were actually getting traded, but still ends up with a little bit more health than Aphromoo on the other side. So it's already a good situation for Cop in the bottom lane. He's going to be trading very nicely. And he keeps that bottle going. So, well, not quite yet, but that's the other advantage of getting the bottle early, because it's something that you don't need to keep buying every single time you go back. So the more you're recalling to your fountain, the more impact it's going to have on the entire game.
Voyboy getting aggressive on Azuna, but does not. Oh, Xmithie, I think, was just a little bit too far out. I think she got spotted. He was in the brush, but just a few inches out. I believe he was spotted. Voyboy wanted to get aggressive, but the moment he saw that pile of bones, just gets on back to the tower. That could have been a lot worse for Voyboy.
Very true. And Aphromoo is running a little bit low on mana, but they catch elements out a little bit out of position there. So it's going to be able to dish some decent amount of damage on him, force him to chug some of those potions. Cop wasn't quite in position to be able to counteract that. So a good trade coming out from the FeaR bottom lane. That's what they need to have happen right now, since they are falling a little bit behind in the CS department, down by about 10 at the moment.
Yeah.
Something they can recover from, but they're going to be looking for another kill. It's going to be difficult with teleport still about a third of the cooldown remaining for Mandatory Cloud in the mid lane. However, Diana had the recall as well to pick up some fancy new items for herself.
Yeah. They could, there's plenty of options, I think, but that could actually be a Haunting Guise even. To build on into the new, I don't even remember most of the new names for new items. I remember this one. I know Sightstone, and actually picking up St. Vicious, actually picking that one up, which is usually that's something you see on a lot of supports these days. But hey, junglers, they need to buy wards too. That's going to be pretty gold efficient later on.
Well, what a lot of people are talking about is that the Sightstone, when you upgrade it to the Ruby Sightstone, which gives you a little bit extra health, it acts a lot like a Heart of Gold. So the Heart of Gold no longer in the game. You're not going to get that passive gold generation. But anytime that you would have purchased a ward, that's essentially 75 gold that is generated from that Sightstone for free. So if you are going to be using the wards, the Ruby Sightstone has the same impact on the game as the Heart of Gold. So
yeah, I never actually thought about it that way. Huh. This is, I like that.
Yeah, and that's why getting it earlier makes a bigger difference on the game. The more you use that Sightstone, the more you use that Flask, any sort of item that's going to be regenerating itself, it's going to have a greater amount of return on the investment that's made.
Huh. All we just need to do is wait for another tier above the Ruby Sightstone, where you can then place the God Stone, and he gives you enough wards where you can spell like GG out in your own base. That'd be a little bit disturbing.
As many wards as you'd like.
As all of the wards, just one gigantic ward, you just place it in the middle, just reveals the whole map for like 30 seconds. That'd be kind of weird, but that would be kind of funny to me. It'd be very amusing.
Mega clairvoyance.
Elements and Cop still continuing their push. Aftermoon, Muff, and Q are actually being pushed to their side of the river down here in bot, and there's some good counter warding going on here. If we had a huge audience like we did IPL 5, it would have been a huge array of applause after that one. But you see the blue buff now on both of the mids, and it's going to be benefiting both of those. Are going to be staying in line just a little bit longer. And while we still get the engages coming in from Nijek. You saw earlier Mandatory Cloud that Prism not doing a whole hell of a lot. Uses the ultimate without the charge, but one more attack, the Ignite, will actually be more than enough for Nijek to grab that kill in mid without any assistance from St. Vicious.
Yeah, you saw that Nijek was a little hesitant. He wasn't sure if he should go back in there. He doesn't know how much damage some of these new items are going to be doing with everything else that's going to be going on in the game. But able to get that kill that he needed to. He could have gotten out a little bit earlier and saved his flash, but really it's better to be safe in that situation. Nice call by him. That's going to give them an extra kill there. 9.5 minutes in. 2-1 in favor of Curse. Good start for them. Not a whole lot of a gold lead, though. Only 600 gold. Definitely not something to write home about before the holidays, asking for a couple extra presents.
Right.
You might still get coal in your stocking. You don't know. You got to keep playing well.
Also, one thing I want to note here, at least on FeaR's side, there's actually only one pair of boots for the entire team. That's a tier 2 attack speed boots onto Aftermoon. Other than that, everyone else is completely barefoot, walking through the streets. You look at Curse, though, there's definitely a few more shoes. Definitely with the Payless, you got that holiday discount for themselves, and they're definitely gonna be a little more speedy going on in. But remember, this is season 3 now. Everyone's a little bit more speedy. Everyone's beefed up. You got St. Vicious with the engage on the Muffin. He throws down the ultimate, but Cop boot flashes out with the cleanse, but will not be enough. Average still connected with the kill. St. Vicious is gigantic. One more auto attack, grabbing the kill on Desire, but Aftermoo is not done yet. Valkyrie on backwards, throwing down the missile for that kill, but Mandatory Cloud used this teleport to get on in, and juking Elements. Will he be able to escape? They could just give the triple to Aftermoo, just Prism. Are you going to allow him to have it? Just Aftermoo, attack the damn Lulu. Yeah, you give it to Mandatory Cloud.
That's a very good call from FeaR.
Yeah.
I'm not as showman-like as we would prefer.
But, right. Mathematically, you know, if you're the traditional MOBA person, you know, after move he already had a double, you give him a triple, you've gotten even more fed. And that's a lot of FeaR's game plan too. You know, protect the after move, get him fed. But we recognize Mandatory Cloud, he did get killed in mid. That kill will allow him to help rebound there back into mid. And also a dragon can't hurt either. And with that, a 1K gold lead going over the FeaR.
Yeah, you're talking about the tendency of FeaR to kind of get after move fed as much as possible, make him that hyper carry in the late game. But we saw in IPL 5 that strategy wasn't really working out for them.
Yeah,
so
you're
maybe
right.
Moving into Season 3, they're kind of trying to fix up things a little bit. They still got Ghost of Zuna in their lineup, so it's going to be good to see how he continues to mesh with the team and grows with them. But they're going to need to diversify a little bit. Otherwise, if you have one strategy, it's very easy for your opponents to counter. So I like that trying to spread things out a little bit.
Wow.
In the top lane, Voyboy doing an amazing job on him. He's going to try to jump up. That is going to be Ignite. It's going to be the kill for Voyboy, just continuing that domination in that top lane. Haunting guys coming out from him, giving a little bit of extra AP. We're also seeing it.
There's Xmithy with the Rupture pop-up,
nice
flashing
flash
out
away.
of the Scream, throwing some more webs, web sling, keep the Cho away, back in the spider form, but the second Rupture will hit, flash consume. Gets the kill for Xmithy, plus one more stack, but we're not done yet. Nia Jackie wandering up top lane. Teleport from ManCloud is down. He's actually all the way back at base, but nice Rupture to keep the Diana away. I think, was that the ultimate was actually used?
Wow.
The Rupture
good
actually
there.
interrupted that. Wow.
Great play from Xmithy, getting a kill in the top lane, turning around to a beautiful escape. That's what they're going to need to have happen. Up by 700 gold at the moment. FeaR turning things around quite a bit. They need to kind of keep control over everything, though. They got that dragon, they got the ward placed where they want it to be. But Aftermoon's still sitting on about half health. He doesn't have the items to be completely safe yet. Looks like he's going for that Bloodthirster to start things off. You need to get that longsword turning into the Vamp Scepter before you can get anywhere. That's going to counter things a little bit for Ashe on the other side, but not enough that he can really feel comfortable engaging quite yet. If Elements can set a position like he did right there, going to be able to trade, but he really needs to keep his health high so that if Cop decides to go in on him while the teleport's down from Mandatory Cloud, they can still be able to escape.
Yep. And still has also decided to go back and get the Philo Stone a while back. A little bit extra health regen, and still the traditional GP10, something that all the supports are rather used to. But we're actually going to be seeing the blue passed over to Rise once again here for FeaR. We got that. Diana, Nightjackie still in the mid, actually has his own. So once again, the mids being passed to blue, nothing too uncommon there. Zuna, remembering what happened last time Voyboy got all up in his face, that shield absolutely shredded. So throw in a quick shard and get on out. You're looking also too on Xmithy. He's actually also going to the Sightstone route, or actually has the Ruby one first in addition to the Spirit Stone, so we may see one of the essences come out of him later. But the move 5 boots now, which I'm actually liking a lot on the old style control junglers, because you get the Spirit Stone, you actually build into the Golem essence, which will also gives you tenacity. So it's like having the Merc Treads and the move 5 boots at the same time. It's really neat.
You can also add the extra little bonus, the tier 3 boots. We've actually been calling shoelaces, because you can add different shoelaces to different shoes. Doesn't matter what your original shoe is, you can make it customize how you want it to be. But with that, it gives a lot more flexibility to go for those mobility boots earlier on. You have that extra speed that you can get, but then you can also add on some other factor that you'd want from a different set of boots.
Yeah.
Makes it very customizable, which is exactly what Riot was going for. I really like that change that they're making. I've been enjoying it a lot. Haven't been able to take the FeaR. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Haven't made the most effectiveness out of that quite yet, but
well, it's still new though. You just kind of forget they're there sometimes too.
I don't forget.
I always
straight
forget.
for them, right from the get-go.
Yes, I need my laces. I need my fancy shoes, because we're going out for dinner. Mandatory Cloud being pulled in by the Diana. Rune Prism not going to keep the assault away for very long though. You do have the presence of St. Vicious there in the mid, and Mandatory Cloud realizes he needs to get away. Zuna afraid to farm, afraid to get close to the mini wave, because he knows how much damage Voyboy is capable of. And it seems at this point just all of FeaR in every single lane. They've been pushed out for most of this game. Bot lane getting a little unctuous. They want to get a little bit of their farm. They want to show that they still have some fight in them. There's the ultimate being used.
He doesn't
top
necessarily
lane.
need to. That's going to be Ignite on him. He's going to be forced away.
Oh, will be enough though to take him out.
Yeah, he stays alive, but that's not necessarily what he wants, especially since Smithy's in the area.
Yes, he is.
Going to be trying to go for the gank. He could have had support.
Doesn't. This time does not hit the Rupture. Doesn't hit the Scream either.
Nice dodging by Voyboy.
That was great. And you got all the spiders coming on in.
Looks like the spiders are chasing Voyboy, but they're going to be able to get away just like their mother, Elise. They're going to send home. Ghosty Zuna's going to have to do the same very soon as well, but he's going to try to stick around, make sure he doesn't lose any of the experience. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Aftermoon, Muffin Cutie able to push up to the turret. This is going to fall if they want it to fall.
Yes.
They might back off just a little bit, especially since that's going to be coming out, but the ultimate coming out is going to slow up Diana. That's a perfect timing. They weren't sure she was there, but just having that defensive capability, if Diana come around the top, it wouldn't have gone quite as nicely. But nice little gold lead here for FeaR. That's what they're looking for, that extra turret and dragon. Is allowing them to stay in the game, even though the farm in each lane is not as far ahead as they would like, especially in the top lane.
And also keep in mind, this is a very fragile lead here from FeaR. Giving up a dragon and a kill or two, or just giving up a tower and a dragon, something along those lines. It's a very small lead that FeaR has at this point. We're pre-20 minutes. We're still technically the early to mid-game transition. One wrong team fight can still swing this game into either direction. That is always, that's why you see a lot of teams, sometimes they're hesitant about taking those early towers, because they recognize that lead can be so fragile. But we're nearly the 20-minute mark. It's about time when stuff needs to start falling, and FeaR recognizing they have a lead, they need to continue to extend, because once you're ahead, you need to get more ahead. Element's actually caught with the vines over the wall. Element's forced to use the ult on himself and will walk away. as FeaR is taking down the Dragon, but Curse making the right choice. If we're going to lose Dragon, we need to take some turrets, but there's Rise teleporting top lane, forcing out the flash from St. Vicious. Can Rise catch up? They want the Maokai, but they'll settle for the Elise. There's the ultimate coming in from Zuna, followed up with the Prism, but the damage just simply is not there. Twisted advance onto Rise underneath his own tower, but Zuna wants the kill, he wants the revenge. Yes, he will grab it, but can he escape? He is ignited, he may fall. Maokai falling to the Rise, still in the middle of the lane. Muff and Cutie come up from lane. We're coming up from River, and Nijaki knows he needs to get out, and miraculously enough, Gosu Zuna survives that.
And that is a prime example of why you should never cut your teammates out. Never say that they're going to die, we should just leave them. Every single player from FeaR had moved up from Dragon all the way up to the top lane, even though there might have been some juicier targets to go for, and they were able to get 2 kills for nothing. They kept everyone alive. They were able to turn this around, take down another turret in the top lane. So a great turn of events for them. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage in this mid lane as well after they got control. Trading the bottom turret, not too bad when you get a Dragon and the mid and the top turret. It's going to give them a lot of zone control for the remainder of this game. Aphromoo, however, is going to get a little too greedy. He gets caught out by Nijaki. That's going to be a kill for Curse. What they're looking to have happen. He didn't necessarily need to get the turret down quite then, but also not a bad decision either. It is a good trade. There's nothing that Curse can kind of do anything about at the moment. Only 19 minutes in. Baron's not a super danger for FeaR at the moment. Going to give them a little bit of breathing room, allow Aphromoo to come back from that graveyard.
We saw Xmithy interrupt the Lunar Rush earlier down top lane, but we saw the Diana's pullback canceled out Aphromoo's Valkyrie. It's like, you think you can get out? I beg to differ. So still a lot of interesting mechanics and great timing coming in from both of these teams. Fantastic to see what everyone's been working on and how everyone's mechanics are starting to now even get further refined as we're heading into Season 3.
Interesting here, if you take a look at Lulu's item, she got that Ruby Sightstone like we were talking about before. Very good item. Takes the place of a Heart of Gold if you're going to be spending that gold on wards, which the support, of course, will.
Yeah.
But then going for that Chalice of Harmony, trying to have that extra mana regen and a little bit of a magic resist as well. That's a really interesting choice for the support, showing the aggression that that Elements is trying to pull out for his team. They were able to take down that bottom turret, so doing a good job there. But the thing is that they're down a turret as well, so not able to convert that mana into anything quite yet. They're going to need to kind of make team fights happen soon where that they are in good position for. They're down by 2,500 gold 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Not something where you normally want to be in a team fight, so it's interesting to see his choice going for that Chalice and the Philosopher's Stone when they're getting into fight and then backing off, so they don't really need the regeneration necessarily.
Yeah. Sometimes with aggressive supports like Lulu, like Lux, like Zyra, sometimes as you see the transition in the mid-game, you'll see them itemize into more damaging items. In this case, potentially an Athene's, which the end goal is to finish off the item. You have the extra mana regen, you also get some CDR, but that usually works best when you're in the lead, which unfortunately for Curse, it's not the biggest deficit, but they are still trailing behind at the moment. So you're right, it's not going to be, for the short term, it may not do a whole lot because they're going to be short engagements. You don't really need the mana regen at this point. But also recognizing that there's still a fair amount of magic damage, though, coming in from FeaR. But that's why you have things such as the Aegis, but also recognizing that St. Vicious fought one also. Arrow in mid, going straight down onto Mandatory Cloud. Gonna get chunked out huge. Nijaki barely making it out. The Rupture will pop him back up, but he is on the back line. Out in front, Xmithy tanking as much damage as possible. Double kill for Cop. And Aphromoo and Muffin Cutie just could not make the best of that situation. Goes to Zuna way too far away, off on the side. And that is the power of Ashe. One of the best ultimates in the game, if not the best ultimate in the game for initiation, if it lands its mark, and this time it indeed did.
Absolutely, Curse pulling up big in that play. They were able to get the initiation going on. Diana was able to go in for the assassination and then get out again. Lulu had her ultimate available if it got too tricky, but was able to save it and hold on to it to be able to use it offensively instead of defensively. Good call by Nijaki to get out when he did. But also great positioning from Curse to recognize that they did have the advantage in that fight. It was a 5v4. Great initiation coming out from Cop. We're going to need to see a little bit more of that, though, because they are down by a little over 1,000 gold still. Yeah. But now Lulu's going to be running around with that Oracles. Good to see the Oracles on the support, especially when it's a Lulu who can escape from things a little bit more easily and use that health on herself if she's the main target.
Jackie.
Diana, unfortunately, Getting caught, just going to try to do some damage and keep the rest of his team alive. Not quite able to get away.
Yeah.
Good attempt, though.
Got caught. That's all it is. Short story. Just Diana getting caught and Jackie a little bit way too far away from the rest of the team. And just there's nothing that could have been done. So now there is a very slim window for FeaR to extend their lead a little further, possibly grab out another turret from underneath Curse. They're all here assembled in the mid, wanting to push the wave. It's going to be another 20 seconds until Diana rejoins the fight, but 1 or 2 minion waves should be able to do it. Mid tier 2 is in near mint condition, but Rupture for the zoning. You also got the Zyra ult also could be enough to force Curse back, but with that one wave down, by the time this second wave comes in here through mid, Jackie will be back up. FeaR recognizes that and decides to back away.
So taking a look at the items now, we have a little lull in the action. I was actually incorrect with the AD items. It didn't go for that Bloodthirster earlier on Corki. Both of them going for that Vampire Acceptor kind of early to make sure they have that regeneration. Kind of normal to what we saw before.
Yeah.
Does a little extra damage, so it's even better for the AD carries once you get that item. Just takes a little longer. But both going for that Infinity Edge. They want to just straight up damage. They want that critical hit chance, and they want to be able to dish out as much as they can with that. We're going to have to see what Corki does after it, if he goes for a Trinity Force or Phantom Dancer, depending on what the situation calls for.
Right.
Ashe looking like she's going to be going for the Phantom Dancer first to make sure the speed comes up. But a nice catch on Smithy. That's going to be the initiation for the fight. Instant assassination on Cho'Gath. That is huge for Curse. No more tankiness, or a lot less tankiness coming out from the FeaR team. That is amazing for them. They're going to be able to push in with a very large lineup here. Elise using her mobility to jump in there, kind of counteracting Aphromu's way to zip that spaceship away. Wow, it looked like Jackie actually missed that the Q there, but was able to ultimate in, closing the distance. Not able to get the kill, though. However, it doesn't matter because they got the zone control. They can keep the pressure on this mid lane while taking Dragon at the same exact time. Yeah,
remember, you don't have to land the Q just to dash in with Diana. It helps immensely. You get a second dash, it's a lot more burst, but you don't necessarily have to use it. But Curse coming back huge, and now the gold lead that FeaR worked so hard to get is down and maybe dwindling further. Mandatory Cloud gets caught over in his blue brush by the onslaught of Curse. Yeah, Zuna had no choice but to use his ultimate in retreat. Blue buff stolen, given to Voyboy, and that's going to be the bot tier 2 falling here from Curse. All 5 members, Elements over onto the side. All of FeaR looks to mobilize out here, but they realize they cannot do a whole hell of a lot, and by the time the reinforcements come, one shot away from death, and there you go, Cop taking out the bot tier 2.
25.5 minutes into this game. Curse is taking the lead once again, 36.8k gold to 35.7. Still a very close game for the amount of gold that we're looking at the moment. 3 turrets to 3, 9 kills to 8. Good play all around. I like the variety that we're seeing from the itemization. I also like the strategies that are coming out here from Curse. They're starting to get the pickups they need on FeaR. FeaR just needs to tighten up a little bit, play a little bit more like a team, and make sure they don't lose control of the Baron. We saw a ton of wards in the middle river a couple minutes ago. They've all expired, and those wards are now kind of taking over the jungle of FeaR, which is good for FeaR because they have the ability to play defensive if they need to. However, that gives them no ability to move out on the map. And Baron is a real possibility, a real threat coming from Curse at the moment. They need to start getting control of that.
And also talking about that warding, remember, Oracles is not a permanent thing now. You got 1 minute left on Elements, but you got the huge, long-range, twisted advance coming from St. Fidget's. Next, Smithy is not in the best of spots. He's a very tiny Cho, and will be falling into push down to Voidboy after move over onto the side. You got the Maokai ultimate, keeping everyone from Curse safe. Zuna trying to get away. Mandatory Cloud cannot flash away either. That's a double kill for the Elise. Zuna crawling away. Double kill for Cop. Double for Curse. No deaths. Elements still has it. Oracles up for a few more seconds, and this is a free Baron for Curse.
Yeah, we were talking about the need for FeaR to get in and get control of the Baron. This is the opposite of what they needed to do. They've got some vision wards up, but it doesn't matter because you're watching them take the game away from you, letting it slip through your fingers. Now they're up by almost 5,000 gold. That's a very sizable lead compared to the 1,000 they had a minute ago. Great job by Curse, and normally you'll see that a lot of teams, after they win a team fight so decisively, they'll actually push in. They got a lot of time available to them. They can do a lot of damage to the base. But they were all very low on health. If they'd pushed in, that would have been a lot of time spent with that. And then when FeaR had respawned, they'd all be full health. They'd be able to push out, chase Curse back to their base and take the Baron away from them. It's a great call by Curse just to not go for any base damage at the moment, take the objectives away from the map so that there's nothing that FeaR can hold over them, and then they can just siege wherever they want to. And with the poke potential coming out from Cop and Nijaki, with the ability to disengage coming from St. Vicious and Elements is just immensely powerful for them now that they have that Baron buff.
Yeah. So there's a lot of decisions there. Like who are we going to give the MVP award here for Curse then?
Oh, well, the game's not over yet. I'm sure we're going to have some quadra kills coming out. Maybe.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
We'll have to see. But we got some new items coming out here. We got the upgraded Aegis for Maokai, so he's going to be adding a lot of extra armor.
Bulwark. And this is all a big learning experience too, because I am so bad at remembering names of things. Runic Bulwark. I remember this one though, the Static Shiv.
Yeah.
Actually on Ashe, which is you know what? It makes sense though, because of that critical strike. Because Ashe benefits so much from more crit chance with the passive. It just you get the charge, you get that guaranteed crit that much faster having that extra crit chance.
Yeah, and I got to stop making predictions about these items because there's so much new potentials that could be coming out. Infinity or Vampiric Scepter into Infinity Edge into Shiv into Brutalizer is what we've seen out of Ashe so far. It completely makes sense. It just with so much new variability, it's hard to predict that beforehand.
This is why they're the pros and we're sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be pro.
I do, a little bit, just a little bit.
I do less off the script from playing League of Legends.
we're like, let's not get it all.
Sad moment for us not being pros at the
or us old guys. Like the fact that we're in our mid-20s, late 20s, and we're the old guys.
Late 20s. I'm not late 20s.
I am. That's me.
Uh-oh. All right, anyway, so now Curse, also not in their late 20s. They're doing a great job of pushing down this top lane. Taking 2 turrets so far. They're going to keep the pressure on. But they also want to make sure all lanes are pushing at the same time. Going to rotate down into mid lane, see if they can push that tier 2 turret there. Once you get all the tier 2 turrets down for the enemy, you essentially have complete control over Dragon because the enemy team can't leave their base. They can start to push up lanes individually, but with that, it gives a lot of a warning of, okay, they're pushing up this lane. Well, that means they're going to be somewhere along this line for the next minute and a half. It gives us freedom to do whatever else we want, and the other 2 lanes are the jungles.
At the very least, though, FeaR, they still have quite a bit of a wave clear available to them. Unfortunately, most of it is on Aphromoo. Those missiles are doing quite a bit to help defend the push away from these turrets, but it cannot last forever. Hey, he uses mana. That is not an infinite resource for you, unfortunately. And you have to keep in mind that this is Curse with Baron buff, with all of that regen. Man. This could get electric very soon, though. Curse deciding just to tank it out. St. Vicious taking a few shots for the team. That's all you need. Curse ekes out the tier 2 here in mid. Continuing on in here for the tier 3. Exploding spiders keeping FeaR away. Clearing time for Smithy because he's down bot lane trying to clear out some of those minions. So this would be prime opportunity for Curse to push here to mid.
And that is exactly what they're doing. They're going to try to do a lot of damage to this turret. Cop taking a little bit of shots from the turret, but it doesn't matter. They are going to engage at the moment. Turret's still at half health. A little bit of a tricky situation here for Curse, but the amount of damage they can dish out is just incredible at the moment. They still have that Baron buff, and now that the turret is down, it's going to be a safe zone for them. 2 players removed so far from the FeaR lineup. It's going to be a 5v3. They're still all above half health. They still have a number of ultimates available to them. The inhibitor goes down. They can keep this pressure going. But it would be a lot more prudent for them to back off, meet up with their minions in a different lane, join the minions, and have them do what they want. They're going to be able to keep the pressure on for another 20 seconds before anyone from FeaR is, the 2 players from FeaR before they come back up alive and are able to defend against this. Baron buff has expired now, so it's something that FeaR can have a chance at kind of whittling down a little bit, take some damage, take some mana away from the first lineup, back off, regenerate themselves, and then come out again. That's where those home guard boots might come into effect.
Oh, yeah.
But we have not seen any of those home guard laces come out for
the team. We got some laces. We got the captain laces actually over there on Cho'Gath. We also got the reduced cooldown, the teleport, flash, and ghost here. The distortion laces actually on Rise and onto Corki. Oh, we also got the actually no, that's regular Merc Treads. What am I thinking? There's so much new stuff. It's like, is that new? No, it's just Merc Treads. I know that one.
The Sapphire Merc Treads.
Actually got the bell coming on in, the Crucible there for Lou, for Elements, and they're you know what? I've been waiting. We've been waiting for a Black Cleaver this entire effing time. And now we finally get one. So if I were betting over-under on the Black Cleavers in this game, I would have been losing a lot of money, so thankfully I didn't.
Has anyone done the math for which items have the most effectiveness, depending on all the little curves and stuff?
You know, I think Judge Black.
I'm sure people have done the math. Has anyone
sure,
done the math and made it public on any community sites?
Black Cleaver, just for the value you get, Black Cleaver would not be as efficient if it was if you weren't able to stack it at this present time.
Yeah, true.
So but it's still, I mean, even if it was like a unique passive or something, it's still a fantastic item on so many champions. The big part of it being the health aspect. It's like, let me get this straight. You mean I get damage and CDR and armor pen and you're giving me health? That's ridiculous.
That sounds like a lot of the new items that came out. If we take a look at the Megatron Cloak for Cop, it looks like he's probably going to be heading to a QSS, which you can now upgrade to an AD item.
Yes.
In Tier 3, so that's going to be really cool. I think we'll see that a lot more out of the AD carries.
Yeah, and that's a huge late game item too, because QSS, as you start hitting to mid game into late game, I mean that's it. That's all there. It's just a pure defensive item, and it can sometimes ruin a few builds because you've now transitioned. You've given yourself a better position in fights because you can clear those debuffs, but you're missing out on damage. And now that upgrade path can allow you to actually bounce on back.
Yeah, not only bounce on back, but if a team is decisively winning, we're not going to see as many 80-minute games coming out because there's less of a cap, or the cap is higher.
Yeah.
So a team that's getting into the 40-minute mark and 10K gold ahead, they can actually spend that 10K gold on something instead of just being like, all right, well, I already bought all 3 elixirs. Let me get an Oracle just to look prettier.
Right. Exactly. And there's Buff and Cutie caught in the brush. You got Jackie out away from the rest of Curse, actually outside of the Maokai ultimate, but I don't think it's really going to matter. All of FeaR's in a full-out retreat. Corki and Malphite will be the first 2 to go down. Lulu ultimate on a Voidboy, keeping everybody slowed and still in. Double kill for Elise. Xmithy being brought behind by those slowing arrows from Ashe, and that will be the ace, a triple-double for Curse. And this is it. Curse will be taking game number 1. The inhib is already down in mid. Everyone's still alive. For straight out 5-0. And this is going to be going on to game number 2. Fantastically played. It was a rough start, but Curse, with their superior teamwork, managed to make it out alive and will be leading the series 1-0.
Yeah, the lineup coming out from FeaR looked really strong in the beginning. That teleport coming from Mandatory Cloud, able to pick up some early kills, turn things around. The issue that I saw from them is that once it moved into that later game, they weren't acting as a cohesive unit. They were moving around a lot. They were getting caught a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much after the play where they moved from Dragon to the top lane, were able to turn that gank against Curse, we didn't see any good plays coming out from FeaR after that at all. So it was constantly one player getting taken out, second player getting taken out, Baron getting taken out, turrets getting taken out, inhibitor gone. From there, it's very hard to recover, especially since the Curse lineup got incredibly tanky. It kept Smithy low on his fee stacks, and with that, he wasn't as tanky as the FeaR lineup was really expecting. Didn't completely fall into place, but that's something they can easily recover from for game number 2. We'll be getting it going in just a couple minutes here. Going to go on a commercial break. Might get Red Baron in here to take my place, but
we'll see.
We'll see what he's feeling, what you guys are looking for. But we'll be right back with some more action for you guys.